The entire graduation hall went completely silent. Not even a breath could be heard. Brandon Carter sat in the front row with a confident smile, adjusting his jacket like someone who already knew the outcome. His wealthy parents sat beside him, calm and proud, waiting for their son's name to be announced as the best student of the year. Brandon leaned slightly toward his friend and whispered, "Greater than, I told you, today is already decided." His friend smiled and nodded. Across the hall, Ethan Walker sat quietly. Head down. Hands folded. No smile. No friends beside him. Then suddenly, the principal stepped forward holding the result envelope. But he did not open it. He paused. He frowned. A staff member rushed in and whispered something into his ear. The principal's expression changed completely. He looked at the hall and said, "Greater than, before I announce the result, we have just received an urgent message from the education board." The hall went silent again. Brandon's smile slowly disappeared, and Ethan slowly raised his head. 3 days earlier, Westbridge Academy was known as one of the most expensive schools in the city. But inside it, there were two different worlds. One of luxury, one of struggle, and Ethan Walker belonged to the struggle. Ethan Walker. Ethan Walker was a 16-year-old student. Quiet, hardworking, always keeping to himself. He never tried to stand out, because life had already taught him that attention often brought pain. Ethan's father, David Walker. David Walker worked at construction sites. Every morning before sunrise, he left home for heavy labor. He carried blocks, mixed cement, and worked under the burning sun. His body was tired every day, but he never stopped. Because everything he did was for his son. Ethan's mother, Sarah Walker. Sarah Walker sold food by the roadside. She cooked early every morning before school rush hour. She worked under the hot sun just to earn small income. Her life was simple, but her love for Ethan was strong. Ethan at home. That morning, Sarah gently knocked on Ethan's door. "Greater than, Ethan, wake up, you'll be late." Ethan stood up immediately. "Greater than, I'm awake, Mom." He wore his slightly faded uniform. Clean, but old. His mother fixed his collar softly. "Greater than, stay strong today." Ethan nodded. "Greater than, I will make you proud, Mom." Then he walked out of the house. Brandon Carter. Brandon Carter was also 16. But his life was completely different. He lived in luxury. Confidence filled every step he took. Brandon's father, Richard Carter. Richard Carter was a real estate businessman. He owned buildings and companies across the city. Money was never a problem in his house. Brandon's mother, Victoria Carter. Victoria Carter was elegant and wealthy. She attended high-class events and social gatherings. Everything about her life was polished and expensive. A luxury black SUV waited outside the mansion. Brandon stepped out slowly, adjusting his expensive watch. "Greater than, today will be easy," he said confidently. His father smiled. "Greater than, make sure you stay at the top." Brandon nodded and entered the car. Brandon arrived at Westbridge Academy. Students immediately gathered around him. "Greater than, Brandon, you're definitely the top again." He smiled and waved. Across the road, Ethan walked alone. A student whispered, "Greater than, that's the poor guy again." Another laughed quietly. Brandon looked at Ethan and smirked. No words were needed. Inside the classroom, students were noisy. One of Brandon's friends threw a paper toward Ethan. "Greater than, hey Ethan. Still walking to school like a poor man." The class laughed. Ethan said nothing. Brandon leaned back in his chair. "Greater than, leave him. Not everyone is built for success." The teacher entered quickly. "Greater than, enough." Silence returned. That night, Ethan sat under a small dim light. His father returned exhausted from work. His mother counted small earnings. Ethan opened his notebook and whispered, "Greater than, one day everything will change." Outside, the world was quiet. But inside Ethan, a fire was growing. And now, 3 days later, graduation day had arrived. The hall was full. Students were dressed in their best clothes. Parents filled the seats. Brandon smiled confidently. Ethan sat quietly at the back. And no one knew. that everything was about to change forever. The entire graduation hall went completely silent. Not even a breath could be heard. Brandon Carter sat in the front row with a confident smile, adjusting his jacket like someone who already knew the outcome. His wealthy parents sat beside him, calm and proud, waiting for their son's name to be announced as the best student of the year. Brandon leaned slightly toward his friend and whispered, "Greater than, I told you, today is already decided." His friend smiled and nodded. Across the hall, Ethan Walker sat quietly. Head down. Hands folded. No smile. No friends beside him. Then suddenly, the principal stepped forward holding the result envelope. But he did not open it. He paused. He frowned. A staff member rushed in and whispered something into his ear. The principal's expression changed completely. He looked at the hall and said, "Greater than, before I announce the result, we have just received an urgent message from the education board." The hall went silent again. Brandon's smile slowly disappeared, and Ethan slowly raised his head. The teacher adjusted the microphone and looked across the crowded hall. Every student, parent, and teacher sat in complete silence. In his hand was the envelope containing the final result. He slowly opened it and unfolded the paper inside. His eyes moved across the page. For a moment, he paused. The entire hall held its breath. Brandon Carter sat confidently in his seat, certain that his name was about to be called. Ethan Walker sat quietly at the back, expecting nothing. Then the teacher finally spoke. "The winner of this year's Academic Excellence Award is..." A long silence filled the room. Then he announced, "Ethan Walker." The hall exploded with shock. Students gasped. Parents looked at one another in disbelief. Some students who had laughed at Ethan could not believe what they had just heard. The same boy they had mocked. The same boy they had looked down on. The same boy they thought would never succeed. He was the winner. Brandon's smile disappeared instantly. His face turned pale. He lowered his head, unable to look at Ethan. His friends sat in complete silence. Not one of them could say a word. Meanwhile, Ethan sat frozen in his seat. For a moment, he thought he had heard the wrong name. But when the teacher called his name again, the entire hall turned toward him. A wave of applause filled the room. Ethan slowly stood up. As he walked toward the stage, students moved aside and watched him with respect. The boy they had ignored was now the center of attention. The teacher handed him the award and shook his hand. "Congratulations, Ethan, you earned this." The applause grew even louder. In the audience, Ethan's mother wiped tears from her eyes. His father smiled proudly. All the years of struggle suddenly felt worth it. After the ceremony ended, Ethan walked outside the school building. Waiting near the entrance were his mother and father. The moment they saw him holding the award, they rushed toward him. His mother hugged him tightly. "We're so proud of you," she said through tears. His father placed a hand on his shoulder. "You never gave up, son. You proved everyone wrong." For the first time in a long time, Ethan felt truly happy. Not because he had won an award, but because he had made his family proud. Across the parking lot, Brandon stood beside his parents. He watched Ethan and his family celebrating together. A heavy feeling filled his heart. He remembered every insult, every joke, every time he had looked down on Ethan. Now the poor boy he had mocked was standing taller than anyone else. Brandon lowered his head in regret. That day, he learned a lesson he would never forget. Money can buy many things, but it cannot buy hard work, determination, or character. Later that evening, Ethan and his family returned home. The house was still small. The furniture was still old. Nothing around them had changed. But something inside their hearts had changed forever. Hope. As they sat together smiling and talking about the future, Ethan looked at his parents and knew this was only the beginning of a better life. And that is where our story ends. The lesson of this story is simple. Never judge someone because of where they come from. The person you look down on today may become the person everyone admires tomorrow. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more inspiring and emotional stories. And don't forget to leave a comment below. What was your favorite moment in Ethan's journey? See you in the next story.